What's up, guys? And welcome back to the Blitz.
Welcome back to the Blitz.
It feels so peculiar doing it with just our voices.
I know.
We don't have a soundboard today, y'all. So,
yes, we do. That was my gong attempt.
Yeah, that attempt sucked. Welcome back.
Okay.
How'd you guys like last week's episode? Bottle up dub. Bottle up dub.
Someone says it was very good.
Yeah. Do you guys think it was very good?
Let me check. Hold on. Let me check these comments as we speak. Don't go anywhere, folks. Don't go anywhere. I'm checking YouTube comments.
You can go somewhere if you want.
Don't go.
Just don't turn off the podcast.
You listen here. I said. We're about to have a conflict. We're about to have a cornflake.
Enter
And fight.
Enter and fight. In the midst
It has no comments.
What?
It has no comments.
Y'all are the worst.
Now, technically, it hasn't been a full week since it dropped. So, 16 people have viewed it in the past 3 days
What do you
since
mean
it's been
it
out.
has? Oh, I guess we're at the time of recording it.
Right.
But once you guys are hearing this, there better be some comments on that thing.
Or else.
Or else we're going to delete the episode. You know, there's no record of anyone seeing it. So it might as well have not existed.
16 people will know, but that's it.
No, the views don't count.
Oh.
Look, just comment, y'all.
The Blitz has 6 comments on it. Yo, one of these comments is a terrible, terrible joke. It's so bad.
Yes, it was painful to read when I first saw it.
I laughed at it, but not by choice.
No.
It was like, you ever have like an uncontrollable pain in your body? you can't stop the pain from
Hurting.
Yeah.
The pain.
Stop. You can't stop it
The
from infiltrating
pain
your system.
hurts. What
How
is
do I
that
mute
from?
him without being able to reach the button? He muted himself.
I did it. I messed up. I somehow managed to mute myself and then unmute myself with one press.
That's right. That's how we do it here on the Fly Podcast. Maximum efficiency. 2 button presses with 1 button press. Welcome.
Now, you may be thinking about, this whole intro, how we're speaking, and be looking at the title. I don't know what the title is, actually.
Maybe you're not looking at the title because we're not sure what the title is yet.
But our subject matter.
Our subject matter is something that you all might be very experienced with, or you're not experienced with. Maybe you have a family member that's experienced with this.
Yes.
What are we talking about?
Evil.
Evil.
Is that what we're talking about? That's our because
Yes.
our the catalyst for us recording this episode is something very specific, but it does bring up other questions that we might want to tackle in this episode. So it's a blitz, so it's not super duper extra cool. I mean,
Speaking of blitz and tackle, Super Bowl is on Sunday. That's 2 days from. It's on Sunday, right? Yeah, that's 2 days from the
now.
drop of this episode. If you're listening on day 1 of it being out, woo! Super Bowl, go Chiefs! Or
If you guys are
49ers.
listening to the future, in the future, who won?
If you're listening to the future,
You're technically listening to the past right now.
yes. I mean, you can listen to future if you went on Spotify. Maybe you're on Spotify. Or you're on YouTube. You can listen to Future on YouTube.
Or you're on Apple Podcasts.
So, guys,
Or Google Podcasts.
there's no table for me to bang on, which I would usually bang on right now.
So he decided to bang on a door frame.
Yes. Anyway, guys, evil. What? What's the question? What's the question to ask? I don't even know how to ask it.
I guess the question that we're asking is, what's the difference between, what constitutes being evil and being,
Complicit in bad things.
in evil.
How what makes something that you're doing something bad? And does doing something bad make you an evildoer?
Correct. That's a great way of putting it. So,
evil.
I guess we're going to start with why we wanted to make this episode in the first place.
All right, boom.
Trigger warning for those listening. There's going to be some heavy discussion of
mind-altering drugs.
Yes, mind-altering drugs, but not and body-altering drugs.
Yes. Oh,
and,
yeah.
And
it's going to be kind of graphic.
Yeah, it's going to be gross. Warning. You've been warned.
Also, if you hear some strange noises, I may be eating chocolate. I wasn't supposed to eat any during the episode, but it was looking at me and I was looking at it. Anyway.
All right. So Elijah, a few days ago, he pulled up this video, and it was the street interviewer who was going around asking people in a place,
Philadelphia,
who were on the street. He was interviewing them about essentially their drug usage, and why they were doing them, what got them into it, things of that nature.
How long they've been doing it.
Yeah. And
so
go ahead.
Picturing a scene like this, you see the thumbnail of the video. You see, is that even open? Oh. But you see the title and what the guy's talking about, and you might imagine, okay, he's going into the slums. There's gonna be people laying out on the streets. I just dropped my phone. Don't even worry about it. There's gonna be people who look like they're out of their mind. And upon watching this, these things were all true. But when we watched it, we also discovered a few more things. Like Isaiah was saying, the motive behind why some of these people start using drugs, or why they stay using drugs, or things like that. And it's a lot more interesting than just the facts that you can see on the surface.
I got some chocolate as well.
Let's go.
My fault.
Chocolate is like drugs. I'm just kidding. Let's talk about this amateur documentary that we watched.
Yes. So, I think the basis of the episode that this man had made was not only to highlight drug usage, but he was highlighting a new drug that had come out on the market recently that was becoming incredibly prevalent in Philadelphia in particular.
Yep.
The reason why I say in Philadelphia in particular is because it's not usually typically sold or common anywhere else. So people who were hooked on drugs and that in that regard would move to Philadelphia, move being a relative word considering they had no homes, but move.
Right.
Migrate to Philadelphia so that they could partake in the new drug, Trank.
Yes. Now, this Trank drug, let me tell y'all something. It is derived from a chemical that is used in tranquilizers for horses.
Yes.
It was never meant to have effect on humans. And horses are very big and muscular.
Yep.
And powerful. Humans are lightweight.
And much smaller.
Yes. So this stuff will mess you up and make you feel crazy.
Yes.
But it doesn't just put you to sleep.
No.
And in the video, there's some, what do you call it, drug administration expert lady. Mm-hmm. And she's like, yes, this drug is known to double the effects of fentanyl when you use both together. Double them.
Double.
That stuff was already deadly. It was already, what's the word? Potent.
Correct.
And
it's
now
fentanyl.
Yeah, it can be doubled. It can be doubled with horse tranquilizer, so that's great. Isaiah, let's talk about some of these effects.
So obviously, the way that the users describe it, they describe it as a calm, like a washing over their body of like just extreme. I can't even, there's no word. It's just like
Extreme serenity.
I was gonna say serenity, but then some people would say like weed would do that, where you're not really worried about stuff.
Yeah.
But it's more than just like a I'm not worried, I'm chilling. It's like a I can't be worried. My brain's not
Right.
thinking.
You are in the avatar state.
Yes, you are in limbo.
Think about being extremely stressed to the point where you're like about to cry and you can't sleep, but also all you want to do is sleep, and you're extremely angry and extremely anxious and all that stuff. Like the stress of being fired and then having your life threatened and then coming home and your home is on fire. How stressed you feel? Now flip it in the opposite direction. That's how calm you are off the trank.
We are not advertising Trank.
Yes, I probably should have. Yeah. So I don't even know where to get this stuff besides the streets of Philadelphia. It's apparently cheap. I'm still not advertising it though.
Of course. Oh yeah, no. The price, write that down or something. We had to make sure we talk about the price, because it's definitely one of the things that makes this incredibly it brings up the argument of evil. All right. I didn't write that well. I didn't write that well at all.
Dude just scribbled on in a nearby cardboard box. All right.
But moving on, the effects physically are where it gets a bit crazy. So, the administration of, I almost said fentanyl, of Trank is administered through a needle. So it's an injection drug, one of those.
Yep.
I think a lot of the worst ones are
Heroin,
methamphetamine.
Yep. If you want it that way.
I was gonna say crack, but you smoke crack.
A lot of stuff, though.
A lot of things, definitely. They're intravenous. So
that's in your veins.
Okay. How dare you assume our listeners aren't geniuses? We know they know.
You're right.
Y'all know.
After all, they can hear the future and the past.
Intravenous. So, as the users, it's more common that if they miss their vein, like if they inject it and they don't hit a vein and it goes just into their general bloodstream or whatever, into their body. I'm not a biologist. Anatomologist?
I don't know. Anatoly.
Thank you. I don't know if that's a real thing. But it can cause swelling, and then it can cause these sores. Elijah describes them as looking almost like
leprosy.
Yeah. And it does. And these sores don't heal, you know? The people who are using the drugs, they try to dress it up as best they can. You know, they find gauze, clean gauze, of course. They use soap and water, try to wash the wound, dress it, but it does not heal.
There's one guy in the video, and we may assume things about people who are addicted to drugs because we don't have that much experience and you just see them on the street. But this guy is trying to disprove these assumptions with the conversation he's having. He's like, look, y'all, I know I'm on these drugs, but I'm a clean guy. It's not like I got in this physical way because I'm not taking care of myself as far as hygiene goes. I wash, I clean, I use gauze, I wrap my wound, I dress it, and I can't get rid of it. It won't go away. It's embarrassing, he said.
Embarrassing, yeah. He even was taking antibiotics, like antibiotics. Which probably wouldn't be like not the kind you'd be able to get prescribed, because those are probably stronger. But he'd take antibiotics, but it still wouldn't heal. And so these sores would develop infection, of course, because they're not healing, and the infection could reach other parts of your body, infect your whole body, and inevitably kill you.
Right.
So what some of these users would do, in order to counteract that effect, which is honestly unbelievable to me.
Yeah.
But apparently it happens, is they will cut their limbs off.
Now, I know what you're wondering. Why not just go to your nearest hospital and have them amputate it safely with drugs to make you feel it less? However, such a procedure tens of thousands.
It's true. Tens of thousands, incredibly expensive. And, a lot of times these people, they use all of the money that they have on their addiction. That's just how it works.
According to experts that were in the video, it was not an uncommon issue for people to just be barbarically cutting off limbs like it was World War One.
I'm not sure if they were doing that in World War One, but yes.
Right when they got shot, and it'd be like septic, and it'd be like, cut it off, ah! But they didn't have any drugs because of scarcity of war. Ignore everything I said. Maybe. Unless I'm right.
That was the Civil War, which was a little bit further in the past with less medical discovery. But I'm not sure. Now, of course, we're talking about the American Civil War for those listening.
Not Captain America, though.
I was just saying that if you're listening from another country, you probably have a civil war. Maybe you might. And I'm not talking about that one.
But you may not have a captain superhero themed after your... All right.
I was about to mute him. So, these drugs, they have this effect. They cause, death, amputation, self-amputation, and obviously just the ruination of lives is what drugs does.
So besides the bodily effects and the way that you feel, just the lifestyle effects that these drugs are having on people. This guy walks the streets of Philadelphia recording this documentary, and you see multiple people just laid out on sidewalks, slumped over, kind of half leaning on walls, but they're like fully unconscious. People, their eyes rolled back in their heads and are just freely bleeding. It's not good. Not a good scene.
Yeah.
One of the ladies that was in one of the scenes of the video was in a wheelchair, and her leg was... I've dropped my phone. Her leg was amputated from the knee down and wrapped in bandages, and you think, oh, well, what happened to this lady? Was it cancer? Was it a grenade? It was trank. Yeah. Moving on.
So, to bring it to the topic at hand, obviously, they're not making it. Somebody is distributing this substance out to people. And the interviewer managed to get an interview with a seller. Now, I'm not watching the video. It was a bit of a gray area for us to determine whether or not it was like a dramatic reenactment of what that would look like, or if they actually had a real seller on camera, talking about the effects. But honestly, I highly doubt they had a real... That just seems stupid.
Because that stuff is highly illegal to participate in.
Of course.
They would not want to give the extra trace.
Yeah,
but who knows?
On camera. But who knows? Maybe, they knew that the episode would come out like 3 months later or something. So they're like, okay, we're going to
moving to Alaska after dropping this.
Right. So they're talking to the seller, and they're asking him if he feels any kind of responsibility for the effects and the horrible effects of the trank that it's having on people. And he says no. The way he describes it is he says that, it's their choice to participate in the usage of trank. Yep. He's just selling them a product.
He was like, it's just capitalism. I'm producing something that consumers want, and
right.
They're paying for it.
He mentions that if he's not selling it and making the money off of it, which was the estimate was $500,000 a day, which is insane.
Yeah.
Don't sell drugs just because I said that big number. It's not worth it. But yes, so $1 million every 2 days was the average margins. And, he's saying that because of this incredible income that he's making, it's like, how come he can't, if he's not going to sell it, if he's not going to be the one making that money, it's going to be someone else. So it doesn't make sense for him to feel bad about it because it's going to happen regardless. The way that the interviewer described it is that it was like a form of self-protection in his own mind, where he found a way to circumnavigate guilt by placing the blame on the system, I guess.
And even on the the people who are buying the drugs, because technically they're inflicting it on themselves.
Right. The price of these drugs is like $2 or something for however amount, which is insane to me. How you sell it for $2 and make $500,000 a day.
So
how many lives is that? That's 250 racks.
right.
Racks.
Let's
of
say
people.
Let's see if it 250,000 people, or like a smaller portion of that, but buying double or something like that.
Right.
But it's very clear to see that whole area is just ruined by these drugs, ravaged by all that stuff. And you don't got to be rich to get your hands on it. So here's the question. Would you consider, hold on, what makes someone evil, would you say? Or what makes an action evil? It's one of the ways that could apply.
The way I see it, and this is personal belief, this isn't backed by anything, but I think, it's backed by experience and stuff like that. But I think being evil has to be doing something malicious against someone else. One. Mm-hmm. And the reasoning behind it, I don't know if that matters as much, but it might be like if it's for your own gain or for the purpose of being malicious just in general, then yeah, I would consider that to be evil. But I don't know.
Yeah. I would add to that the Stan Lee definition, the Uncle Ben, how they say that having great power means you have great responsibility. With great power comes great responsibility. There you go. Right? Are you really going back?
Huh?
Wait, is it is that?
No, never mind. The mouse isn't moving. I was gonna pull up the quote.
Oh, yes, the quote is on the desktop. Fun fact. Anyway.
But yes, with great power comes great responsibility. So if you're not using that power to the advantage, maybe you are being selfish and therefore evil.
Or if you have power over others and you aren't careful about it, and you're like, who cares what happens to them? I have, you know what I'm saying? You don't take responsibility for the people that you have power over. So you harm them or you deprive them.
Yeah. Man, are we about to bring up slavery in another episode?
No. Sure.
Because, hey, bro, was slavery evil? Yeah, I would say so. Maybe. Again, okay, here we go. So, with the drug dealers, they are, in fact, selling a product, right? They're not forcing anyone to buy it. They're not, I don't know, putting a gun to anyone's head and saying you're going to buy this. They're not robbing people.
Mm-hmm. They're not forcefully injecting them.
Right.
Or anything of the sort.
When we talked about this before this episode, I was reminded of cigarettes, right? Cigarettes, which are legal. You can buy cigarettes. Of course, if you look at a cigarette package now, the packaging has gigantic labels telling you that you will die of lung cancer.
Yep.
Or you will at least get lung cancer by smoking cigarettes. The percentage is like incredibly high. Don't smoke cigarettes either. Those are bad for you.
If you are currently, you can stop. I believe in you.
For real.
Vapes are bad too. You can stop. I believe in you.
Mm-hmm. But is Marlboro or Camel or whatever these...
Or Maverick.
Maverick? I don't know that one.
That's the off-brand, but it's real.
Are these cigarette distributors evil for selling cigarettes? Are they giving people lung cancer? Are they knowing that these things give lung cancer and that people have addictions to cigarettes? Are they being evil in the continuing of selling them because they want to profit?
What's interesting is that the law here has different opinions and feelings about whether or not these things are condemnable actions. For instance, it is completely legal to sell cigarettes to adults to not minors, whereas the distribution of weed is not legal, right? Is that still true? Why would you?
Sorry.
Why would you unmute and chew, bro? He
'Cause
also
you
has
asked me a
chocolate.
question.
My bad. You're right.
I'm not sure. I saw somewhere that it's being legalized in Charlotte or something.
Dang, I gotta go to Charlotte.
Anyway, but I don't think so. I don't think that's confirmed. However, they do. I think federal law has changed the age of smoking, like buying cigarettes to 21 to match along with alcohol.
Before it was like 18. Mm-hmm. Interesting.
But that's now changed.
So I've never seen anybody get in trouble for selling cigarettes to people who are buying them and using them of their own free will.
Right. Well, maybe if you're selling loose cigarettes on the street, that's probably not legal.
Oh
But
yeah,
like if you're a vendor, you carry them.
But I remember when I was in middle school, and this is right here in Fayetteville, there was a student.
Right here in Fayetteville, all you.
Yeah, we're recording in Fayetteville. Yeah, well, we're recording in Spring Lake. We live in Fayetteville. Shut up. So who am I telling to shut up? My conscience. And yeah, sure. But so there's a student in one of my classes in the 8th grade. And this guy, he did not sell marijuana or even use it himself, but he had a friend who did. And I don't know if the friend had planned this or what, or if it was really just an innocent accident, but the friend always kept his supply at school, and one day he wasn't able to be at school, and he'd wanted somebody to watch over it or something. So thinking back, it was probably a scheme. But so the friend that I know, let's call him Al, he's like, oh yeah, I'll hold on to it. There was some weed in a AirPod case that had been hollowed out, so it was a very small amount. He put it in his locker. That day that the friend who owns the weed isn't there and he's holding it in his own locker, Al is, there's a drug bust at the school. Dogs in the hallways, officers walking through there. They sniff out the weed in this guy's locker. And young Al, the kid who did not sell drugs but was holding them for a friend, was arrested mid-STEM class. Now, let's break this down. The teacher of the class was breaking down in tears because she was like, this is not a bad kid. There's nothing wrong with him. He's very respectful. I see him helping out other students. He's kind. He just happened to possess this substance. Now, the officers are saying, no, he is going to juvenile detention today. Mm-hmm. I don't know where to stand. Personally, I was like, well, I mean, it's not even his. He can't prove that it's not his.
But even if he can't prove it's not his, they can't prove he's selling it.
Right.
Possession's illegal, but I don't think it's a like a prison time offense.
Right.
It might be, but an amount that small, it just doesn't track.
Personally, would you say that this guy was evil?
Al?
Yeah.
No.
Would you say that the friend was evil for selling it?
For selling weed?
Yeah. As an underage person to underage people?
No. Evil? No.
Why not?
The effects are just not the same as Fent
Yeah.
and Trank.
So the mere selling of it is just, you're not ruining someone's life per se.
Right. Like let's say you're 21 and over and you're one of those that will go buy alcohol for like teens. Go buy this beer for
Oh
us.
Lord, don't be one of those. If you are, stop.
But you do that. Are you evil? No. You're dumb. But no, I wouldn't say you're evil.
What if one of the teens was drinking and driving with it
and died? Then you're probably at fault. But again,
are you evil?
It's not on purpose. It wasn't malicious, so no.
Right. Would you say it would be evil that if in the case that I'm hypothesizing that Al's friend set him up on purpose to get arrested instead of himself?
Would that be evil? Of course. Yeah. That's snake-like behavior.
I'm nodding my head over here.
That's not good friendship.
At all. It's not friendship whatsoever.
We got an episode on friendship.
Yep.
I think it's 12.
Number 12.
It's a good episode.
Check it out.
Check it out. It's also a Blitz.
Also, if there's a topic that you guys have heard about.
It's the first Blitz.
Oh, yeah. Episode 12.
I mean, 10 is the first Blitz, but it wasn't an episode.
Right. If there's a topic that you guys have heard about, but you wanted to hear more about, and we talk about that. I guess we comment on it in the episodes themselves. Like, if you want to hear more about this, let us know. But then people don't let us know. But if you ever are like revisiting or catching up and you're like, man, I wish they would have talked more about this or that, comment and we may do it again.
Yeah.
A topic
doesn't die once we do the episode.
Fact. Every conversation is new.
You know, if there's still stuff to talk about, then we will talk about it.
Facts.
But yeah. I'm not sure where to stand on what is evil and what's not.
Yeah, I mean,
you know?
it's a big question. I would be more likely to label someone who only distributes and that's it, who only sells trank. I would probably be quicker to categorize that person as evil than someone who sells weed because of the effects on the person, on the user's life.
Because lethal.
Yeah.
I don't know if weed's lethal. Again, that brings up the question of like, because now me and you are both adults. We're young, so we still qualify for frontline youth. But
let's go.
We're a voting age, yeah.
Don't kick us out.
Thank you. And there are these things in place, like what we talked about, where they're doing a drug bust in the school, and my boy Al is getting arrested. And again, you start to wonder if like, and look, y'all, do not misconstrue my words here. But when you really think about Al's situation and his friend, the situation his friend put him in, does the punishment match the crime? Did he do a crime at all, really, for just having it? You know what I mean? If someone buys cigarettes and it's theirs, cigarettes are bad for you, but they're legal and you can smoke them and die all by yourself if you want. That sounds crazy. I'm sorry, but don't smoke cigarettes, bro. It's cancer inducing.
Yeah. Cigarettes are bad. Don't buy them. Don't smoke them.
But then, you know, you start to have these questions of, is it now evil to target people for certain? Look, man, it's a big question, and I don't have an answer because I'm not about to get on here and say we should legalize weed because that is not really what I'm saying. But then it's like, you going to jail, dog.
Important disclaimer: we are not promoting any drugs
At all.
Every last one of them. It's
Suck.
better for you to not have it.
Well, unless you have like
Pain and you need the Percocet,
or you need NyQuil.
but get them prescribed or over the counter.
Even if you got them prescribed, don't use them unless you need them.
Drugs.
Don't abuse drugs
because you're abusing yourself.
Yeah.
In many ways.
Anyway, our episode is not don't do drugs. However, don't do drugs.
Fact.
But yeah, those are just our general thoughts of things that came to our mind. Again, this is a blitz, so we don't necessarily have to have a conclusion. We don't, it's kind of open for discussion. So what do you guys think? What do you guys think about the legalization of weed in other states? Is it a bad thing? And if so, how? Or is it a good thing? And if so, how? Let us know your pros and cons list on that. Or do you think it's evil for these people to sell drugs, but then not evil for people to sell cigarettes and stuff? I don't like what marks the difference.
Right.
So let us know.
Please comment.
Please.
Comments are always read and they're always appreciated. You guys are great.
You guys are our favorite listeners. And with that said, We'll
we are
catch y'all
out
in
of
the
this
next one.
thing.
Peace.